is Wednesday, January 17th, and welcome to another episode of Deliberate Discussions live with Vicki Horton and Thadrick Parker. I am your co-host, Vicki Horton.
And I'm your co-host, Thadrick Parker.
Thadrick, oh my God, today I am so excited. As always, this is episode 2, season 5, and we have so much going on because of all the deliberations we've done in the past. We have so much promo going on. Let's go ahead and give a few shout outs before we get into our discussions. First of all, we want to give a big shout out to Miss Kenya C. Wheeler, CEO of KCW Multimedia Group and KRTG Radio. They are presenting Praise and Worship Black History Concerts Awards Show. This is going to take place on Saturday, February 10th, between 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. There's going to be awards, gospel music, food, clothes, vendors, and so much more. There's going to be free parking, so make sure you bring your own lawn chairs. And this is all going to take place at New Jerusalem Church of God in Christ at 425 Roosevelt Avenue in Delray Beach, Florida. You hear me, Delray Beach? Delray Beach, Florida. Kenya Wheeler is known throughout Dade, Broward, Palm Beach County, and many other counties that we probably haven't even visited, but she is doing big things, especially for our church community in the city of Delray Beach, all the way down in Dade and Broward County as well. Shout out to you, Kenya Wheeler, and we hope to see you on Saturday, February 10th from 3 p.m. until 9 p.m. Thadrick, who do we have next?
I had to pop up real quick. See, I told you I'm just going to pop up. It's just going to be a pop up. They ain't going to even know I'm there. See what I'm saying? You know, they on my platform, so they know something with me there. So we seeing each other. I hate to pop in real quick. Just wanted to pop in on Kenya Wheeler. That's my big sister. And I just wanted to say, we all gots. We all we need.
Oh, it's we all we got, and we all we need.
Put my Z on my shit.
Okay, got.
All right. So the second one we have is Robin.
Okay. You want to do this shout out, Thadrick? Did you have the other flyer or no?
Do you see it? It's on the screen. Can you see it?
Okay. I do apologize. Shout out to Robin Lilly. If you guys have had a chance to see the Deliberate Discussion season 5 opening episode, you will see that she donated us a flyer. Robin Lilly is very talented. She's done work for me pro bono in the past. And this young lady has really grown her business. She's certified in bondage. She's a notary. She does mobile notary and online notary, which is something that I don't do, online notary. She does business cards, flyers, I-9 verifications, power of attorney. She does oath. You can reach Robin Lilly at area code 352-575-6057. Robin, thank you so very much. RJL's Notary and more. That's Ms. Robin J. Lilly. Look her up. Come on, Delray. She's from Delray. She's one of our own. Everybody, not just from Delray, but listen, y'all getting a divorce, that's the one you need to call.
Exactly. I want to give a special shout out to Robin as well, because she is truly the real MVP. I actually worked with her myself recently on gifting a flyer to my family. So Robin did an amazing job, and she's easy to work with. And I really, really, really appreciated her a lot for doing that.
She is. Thank you so very much. Lastly, but certainly not least, I do want to give a shout out to a good friend that I consider a good friend. I met him recently. I've known him for years. I want to give a shout out to Mr. Rohan Genesis Sutherland. He has Black Lux Picnic and Music Festival coming up on February 24th. Okay. The early bird tickets are already sold out. Right now, he has $50 tickets. If you have not purchased your ticket, I advise you to get there. I got so much information on this today from Mr. Genesis, and I'm going to tell you, from Rohan Genesis Sutherland, thank you so very much for putting this together for everybody. This is, if you need more information, go to www.blacklux, that's Luxe, picnic.com. That's Mr. Rohan Genesis Sutherland. If anybody is watching this and you know Rohan, please tell him big shout out from Deliberate Discussions, Vicki Horton and Thadrick Parker, and our producer, Mr. Vincent C. Wheeler.
Hey, big shout out to Nene Gemini, my dog. You know what I'm talking about? She be hosting that thing. Hey, that's my dog. You know what I'm talking about? Big shout out to Nene Gemini. Want to make sure I shout her out real loud. Y'all support them female hosts out there doing their thing. Them big
That would be me
personality
too.
people getting opportunities. This is so awesome. So I also want to say I think everybody's just giving Nene Gemini opportunities. Boynton really been supporting her really hard with a lot of her endeavors. I see her trending a lot. Her and I have been in the booth together at a Lake Worth High School football game, funny enough, on one of my shows. So I want to give a big shout out to her. She was on my football show, and it was a blast. And I'm glad to see her getting bigger and better paid. Or I don't know if she paid now, pay Rohan, but better contractual opportunities. I can't wait until she blows up.
Thank
I
you.
love our producer, Patrick. I really do. I don't know what to say more about Vincent. I just love his energy. I mean, you and I, we're enough together, but this man here, he just takes us to a whole different level.
I
So,
thought we was bad. Okay. All right. So, Vicky, before we go into our topics for the week, let's talk about our own promo opportunities here on Deliberate Discussion.
yes. Shout out to Vicky Horton and Patrick Parker. If you need promo or you need advertisement, you can do that right here on Deliberate Discussions each and every Wednesday night when we are on the air. We will definitely promote your business. We'll promote your product. We will promote your event. If you have any questions in regards to our pricing, our promo type, there's various different programs you can choose from. Please contact myself at area code 561-325-1488.
Thank you, Vicky. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, y'all support these people, man. Y'all, hey, give a call, man. Hey, get your flyers out here. I got to comment on that one. That's about supporting, man. Support them. Go like their pages, their TikToks. We're going to get the QR codes up in here. Please come out and support everything these guys are doing. They give people like me an opportunity. That's all I'm going to say. That's how crazy they is.
All right.
Man. You know, he just has no idea how much I love him.
Okay. But you know, it's so funny. I am so looking forward to tonight. The things that we have deliberated on for tonight's show is actually, it's a really good conversation, and it's something that we need to talk about, but talk about in our own way. It's so often that, these topics are spoke about in the media, but in this very cookie cutter way. So here on Deliberate Discussions, we're going to talk about our own way, and I know damn well we're going to cuss about it too. So so let's jump right in, friend.
Listen, I'm laughing so hard. My braces, my lip keep getting stuck on my braces. I need some more wax.
Let's get into it, okay?
All right. So let's get into these discussions because, and I'm gonna advise our viewers tonight's discussions are very touchy subjects. Really nothing to be made fun of or laughed about. And any views expressed here on Deliberate Discussions are not necessarily our views. Patrick and I, we both have different opinions of things. So my views don't necessarily mean that they're his and his mine. In any case, we would like to know how you feel about these subjects that we're going to talk about. All right, so Patrick, first up on our docket tonight, discussion number one, we're going to take you right to the state of Texas on this abortion law for Mrs. Kate Cox. So you want to start this one, friend?
Yeah, we'll start the video, then we'll come back for discussion.
Okay. Yes, please play the video. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Hold on one second, friend.
Am I syncing? Okay.
There you go.
A Texas judge has granted an emergency order to allow 31-year-old Kate Cox to get an abortion after doctors ruled her fetus was likely not viable and continuing her pregnancy would threaten her health.
The idea that Ms. Cox wants desperately to be a parent, and this law might actually cause her to lose that ability is shocking and would be a genuine miscarriage of justice.
The first of its kind lawsuit challenged the state's abortion ban, which took effect after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade last year.
No physician in Texas feels comfortable that they will not be prosecuted or spend the rest of their life in prison for providing her an abortion. And so that is why we have come to court.
It's unclear when or if Cox will ultimately be able to have an abortion, now that the state's attorney general has written a letter warning doctors that they may be criminally liable if they go through with the procedure.
So, Vicky, before we start, I want to play the second part so that we flow right into it, so that the
Please.
audience can really understand the gravity of this story.
Thank you.
A Texas
Oh,
judge
that's
has
the wrong one. I'm
granted an
sorry.
emergency
Okay,
order to allow 31-year-old Kate Cox to get an abortion after doctors ruled her fetus was likely not
give
viable.
me 1 second, friend.
A major development in that closely watched abortion case in Texas. The state Supreme Court weighed in late Friday, blocking a pregnant woman from getting the procedure. Doctors say the baby has a fatal condition and the mother's health is at risk.
We're going through the loss of a child. There's no outcome here that I take home my healthy baby girl, so it's hard,
And heartbreaking, obviously. Let's go to NBC's Julie Sirkin, who's following this story for us. So, Julie, welcome. I know that yesterday we heard this woman was granted the permission to get the abortion. That is when we heard from her. What happened overnight?
Yeah, granted permission by a lower court, the judge siding with Cox and her lawyers who made the case that she qualifies for Texas's limited exceptions when it comes to life of the mother. And Cox says that her doctor told her she could experience life-threatening complications that could lead to the already mother of several children unable to have more children in the future, something she told our colleague Laura Jarrett she desperately wants. So the Supreme Court overnight blocked that lower court decision. This is the state Supreme Court. That was after the state attorney general, Ken Paxton, actually filed a petition. He said that Cox has not proven that any of her complications as a result of this fatal abnormality in her baby, the 20-week-old pregnancy. Of course, she's carrying this child, the doctors have said, will likely die just a couple of days, within a few days that this baby is born. Here's more of what Kate Cox had to say about this. Watch.
I think forcing me to continue the pregnancy, the pain and suffering, put me through the risks of continuing the pregnancy, the risks of childbirth again, especially given how my last two went. I think it's cruel.
You can obviously just hear the emotion in her voice, how painful this is. The next steps here are that the Supreme Court in the state of Texas is going to hear arguments. They're going to hear other considerations in this case. So the pathway for Cox to get this abortion that she needs, that her doctor said she needs, is not over, but it will be challenging. And of course, as every day that goes by, Cox faces more and more complications. She said she's already been to the emergency room 4 times in the last couple of weeks. She suffers from amniotic fluid leaking, which of course is a very dangerous condition. And so just the clock is ticking for this woman who's running out of time.
Yeah, absolutely is. Julie, thank you for that.
I'm sorry. I am very pro-choice. Okay. And to hear Kate Cox's story, this is a 31-year-old Dallas mother of 2. And she has a husband. And Miss Cox decided to put her heartbreaking story into the public eye just to force an answer from the Texas lawmakers to an urgent question about how serious the state of Texas is about enforcing its new abortion laws. Well, Texas says they're extremely serious. So serious to the point where Mr. Attorney General, Mr. Ken Paxton, decided to take it a little bit further and go into the law to put this law, which Kate Cox's story is the first story to challenge that abortion law in the state of Texas. She and her husband, they were thrilled to find out that they were pregnant again. I mean, who wouldn't be? A happily married couple with already 2 kids. Okay, she's 31. She's very vibrant. She's getting ready to have another baby. However, when they received the news of the lethal fetal diagnosis of this child, the doctor actually diagnosed her. It's called, and if I hope I'm pronouncing this right, I think it's called trisomy Trisomy or
Mhm.
something. And let me just, I'm sorry, I'm just looking at her notes. But her doctor basically said she needed to get an abortion to preserve her health and
Correct.
her future fertility in the event that she wanted to have another child. But because of this ignorant state law of Texas, her and her husband's hands were tied. Okay, and a lot of people are saying the Texas law is way too vague and that the stakes are too high for doctors to implement them with confidence. And I mean, I totally agree with that. The law is not very, it's not very clear on what the doctors can and cannot do, okay, without a problem. And in my opinion, and this is my opinion, Vicky Horton, that's a huge decision to have, as well as a decision to make for any woman and her husband or her spouse or whoever else. We are talking about terminating one life that may or may not be viable outside the womb. And on the other hand, you have a woman who is a wife and a mother of 2 children. How do we not make that decision? If my child is going to be born with the defect and may not live outside of my womb or may very well die inside of my womb during those 9 months, do I really want to subject myself to that pain as a woman? So, I mean, come on, Texas law, make this make sense.
Let me tell you something. Who the hell are they? Okay. To tell any woman what to do with it. Like you said, I'm very pro-choice as well. That's my business, my family's decision, or whatever. When the Supreme Court overturned this, it was just, it was wrong. You know, it should not have happened. And for the state of Texas and some other red states as well, feel as if they can make this decision for a woman's life. That is absolutely wrong.
It's absurd. I mean, this man, Attorney General Ken Paxton, when Miss Cox went and got a court order, why as a woman do we have to go and get a court order allowing our doctor to perform to terminate a pregnancy that may be non-viable?
Correct. And then for them to say that she had not proved enough of her case, who are y'all? We're talking about, this is what her doctor has determined. You all are lawmakers. So how are you going to speak for the doctor or make a decision or override what the doctor said? You know, like, oh no, you know, you haven't proved enough to even do what?
Yeah. And the sad part about this is, at 31 years old, I've had amniocentesis before, and that's a very long needle that they put and draw some of the amniotic fluid and out of the uterus. And one thing about the amniocentesis, it will tell a lot about defects, any diseases, any deformities. So
just the fluid alone will tell that?
It will tell everything. I mean, everything. I mean, I'm talking about from the X chromosomes to the Y chromosome. And the reason I had one is because I was a very high risk pregnancy. But Kate Cox knew from her doctor that she trusted the professional, not the lawmakers, the professionals. She knew that her fetus was developing a twisted spine, clubbed feet, irregular skull, and a heart development. So she had gone to the emergency room 3 times in 1 month, Patrick. 3 times.
So my question is, what is it that she has to prove? What's good enough for them to say, hey, okay, we agree, you need to do this? You know, it just doesn't make any sense to me that
Listen, friend, I totally get it. And what it is, and I looked at the Texas abortion law. It is very vague and it's not clear. So it's basically like a rape victim.
So so the question came through, why can't she just travel to another state? So to answer your question, Carlos, that was next. If you want to go ahead and tell that part, Vicky, you can. Go ahead.
What? That why she went to another state?
Yes, she did go to another state.
She had to go to another state to get an abortion because abortion is outlawed in the state of Texas if it is not medically necessary. Attorney General Ken Paxton, he actually filed a motion stating that hers was not it doesn't fit under the Texas guidelines. I really think this was a political move on his part, Patrick.
Definitely, because he threatened the doctors as well as the anyone that will be involved in
Yes, he
performing
did. Yes,
this
he did.
abortion. Although it was granted by a judge.
Yep.
But
And he made threats. I have it. He made threats to the hospitals
correct.
by and appealing the state's highest courts, and ultimately he got the order blocked from his complaints. And Texas says that the problem is the way the doctors are interpreting the law, not the law itself. Again, make it make sense. If
Exactly.
you're saying it's the way the doctors are interpreting the law, just how y'all stupid ass,
Exactly.
how y'all wrote it.
And obviously the doctors are the professionals. They know a hell of a lot more than y'all.
Exactly. And I mean, the doctors, as far as I know, they're not lawmakers. I mean, some of them may have been, or maybe in the future, but stick to lawmaking. Let the doctor stick to the medical necessities.
That is true. Like Darnell said, she should not have to get approval to decide on her own body. Absolutely.
Exactly. And I totally agree with that, Darnell.
Totally.
You are absolutely right.
Totally agree. I mean, that's why I'm like, it's her body. It's her. That's the decision of her and her husband.
Exactly. That's her.
No lawmaker in the state of Florida or no lawmaker sitting in DC should be making any decision whatsoever on anybody's body.
Yeah. And
that honestly, is your body.
Let me tell you something.
And I will take another step. There's no way in hell any man should be making a decision for a woman's body.
Hello. I mean, if it's for her and her husband, I must agree that they have to make that decision together. And in this case, Kate Cox and her husband, they did make it together. I mean, no woman wants to put their body through the risk of continuing a pregnancy that's already been confirmed unviable. And if viable, how long would the fetus be viable outside of the womb?
Exactly.
So I mean, come on. So before the overturn of Roe versus Wade in June of 2022, the Texas law would have allowed Ms. Cox to have an abortion at her doctor's office or at the hospital in these circumstances. And that was before June of 2022. So are we going back in time? Because that's what it seems like.
Yeah, it is, and we have so many states that's doing the same thing or following suit behind Texas.
Thank God Florida ain't doing it. I really hope they don't, because see, y'all gonna have people. They're gonna have people busting out the wire hangers again. I'm sorry, they're gonna go back to
there are some abortion bills on on discussion down in the state of Florida.
They're trying to push them, but in Florida, baby, you can go to Palm Beach, Fort Lauderdale. I know all the little spots, but anyway, that's another discussion.
Abortion is legal in Illinois. Okay. you have a right to that here. So if you need to roll on up here to Chicago, let me know. I can pick you up and drop you off.
Most definitely. That's right.
But in all seriousness, that's your choice.
That's your choice.
Yeah.
So to our viewers, we know this is a very touchy subject and a very touchy discussion. But Deliberate Discussions would love to hear your feedback, and you can provide that in our comments. If we don't respond to your comment on the air or after the show or during the week, please know we do hear you, and we really want to know more from you, what you think, what your opinion is, and how do you feel on abortion. I mean, are you pro-life? Are you pro-choice, and why? We would love to hear from you.
Correct. And thank you for everyone that's tuning in to the show tonight. Just want to give some shout outs. Hey, Mom, welcome. Have Darnell here, Naomi, Tanya, hello. Carlos here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Gayla's here. How are you tonight,
Gayla?
We had Maria watching, John Johnson watching, Regina Ramsey, Stephanie Parker. Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight to Deliberate Discussion.
Thank you all so very much. We really appreciate the support. Cedric, can I throw a little shade right now?
Go for it.
Okay, I'm gonna throw some shade because I don't know if y'all can see me well, but I'm waiting on me a ring light so people can see me better on.
Well, just because you threw that shade, I'll make sure I remind them when we get off the air.
Thank you, friend. I love you. Okay, so with that.
I'm sorry. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Before we move forward, let me also give a shout out to Bilal for watching as well.
Hey, Bilal. Listen, I'm sorry, everybody. I can't see who's watching. I don't know why. But hey, Bilal, I love you.
Okay. He's talking about Bilal.
Bilal is my boyfriend.
Bilal, he's talking about Bilal's here. Okay.
Bilal, child. How you doing?
I wouldn't have heard the last of it if I wouldn't have said that. Okay.
I love you, Bilal. That's my
All right.
boyfriend. Love Edric.
No, thank you. So you want to set up the second topic, friend?
Okay, so discussion number 2. We are going to take you to the state of Ohio, Warren, Ohio. 34-year-old Brittany Watts. Do we have this clip, Patrick?
I'm gonna play it right now.
Okay, we're going to take it to Warren, Ohio right now. Just watch this clip.
A woman in Ohio is being criminally charged for how she handled the remains from a miscarriage she suffered at her home. A detailed report from the Washington Post says Brittany Watts is being investigated by a grand jury for a felony abuse of a corpse for allegedly wrongfully disposing of the fetus. Watts was in and out of the hospital days prior to her miscarriage at nearly 22 weeks. And according to the Post, the doctors confirmed her pregnancy was not viable. When Watts woke up on September 22nd, she felt intense pain in her abdomen and miscarried in her hospital. Once she was taken to the hospital, she told the nurse she had left the fetus outside her home. The nurse contacted the police and they showed up 2 weeks later to arrest her. Watts' lawyer said in this statement to CNN, there is no law in Ohio that requires a mother suffering a miscarriage to bury or cremate those remains. The prosecution of Miss Watts is tragic, it is unjust, and we will continue to fight.
I'm so sick of these people. I don't know what
I promise you, friend, I am so sick and tired of these people. Okay, so Brittany Watts was initially charged with felony abuse of a corpse. This young woman miscarried a baby in her bathroom and was later admitted to the hospital for hemorrhaging. This woman went to the hospital to get help. Okay? And twice. And it was life-threatening. Her hemorrhaging. All these people cared about where the hell is the baby. Now, and this is where it gets, I'm gonna read this, but this is where it gets very graphic. A municipal judge found probable cause to bind over Brittany's case after prosecutors said she miscarried, clogging the toilet and removing some of its contents to an outdoor trash area, then left the house, leaving, count the weeks, 22-week-old fetus lodged in the pipes. Cedric, last Thursday, a grand jury decided this type of felony is punishable by up to 1 year in prison. However, the case did spark national attention, which I don't know if everybody has heard of it, but Deliberate Discussions definitely heard about it. And that is why we're bringing it here. We deliberated and we got it right here. So all the support this young woman experienced at the Warren County Courthouse is just unbelievable. The grand jury came back and they said, absolutely not. Period. There will be no indictment on this. Okay? No, we're not going to indict. Now, let me ask you, going back to the pro-life, pro-choice thing, I don't see anything wrong with what she did. How many of y'all would dig into the toilet and get anything out of it? Honestly.
Correct.
Honestly.
You're right. There was nothing wrong with what she did. She made an attempt, but also there's no laws on the books in that state to say how you're supposed to dispose of the body if in this case. So my thing is, they should have thought about that before they even decided to prosecute her. Mm-hmm. If there's no laws in the books that tells me what's supposed to be done, I'm not being prosecuted. Mm-hmm. And
so my thing is on this, Patrick, is a fetus viable at 22 weeks? I got 3 kids.
Well, I can't. And the reason I'm allowing you to really take lead on these stories because I'm not a woman. I can't produce no children. I've never had an abortion. All I can say is I feel like it's right or it's wrong. And I will say, as far as abortions is concerned, that's pro-choice. That's your decision.
Exactly. I've had an abortion.
Correct. Now you would know a lot more as a woman when it comes down to a fetus and things like that or whatever. And so I respect that. And one thing I do respect is every woman, and I respect every woman's choice to their own body. You know,
Now, and I'm telling you, in my experience, and
and let me say this, and I will say this: if I was a damn woman, I probably would have had a few abortions by now. I can't.
You know what, friend? I cannot do you right now. You had to come and throw that on in there, though. That's all right, friend.
I could dare you right now, I would have had a few. Okay, so
that's okay, friend. But let me tell you something. As a woman, I don't know what's changed over the years. I've had 1 or 2 abortions, and I'm just gonna say 1 or 2. Don't judge me, judge your mom.
Exactly.
And whatever my reason was, but I was always told if I am less than 26 weeks, they would not perform an abortion. Now, there is an upside. There's another side to that 26 weeks. They give you an abortion pill where you literally will, and I haven't done this, but they give you a pill. Who said something? Because I know somebody said something.
Darnell's laughing at me in the comments.
What happened?
And they know y'all know I'm telling the truth.
Wait, friend. Listen, let me tell you something. They give you a pill and you go home and within 24 hours, this baby falls out of you into the toilet. What do those people do with the babies?
Flush it down the toilet.
So why these people messing with Brittany? Make it make sense now. Make it make sense, Thaddeus. It's got to make sense to me for me to go along with it.
So, when it comes to healthcare, Black women have it much harder.
Yes, that's right.
So, I've done a lot of research on this story, and every person that spoke about this story said the same thing. Brittany was prosecuted because she was Black.
She was Black. But guess what? Guess what they didn't anticipate, though? They didn't anticipate those approximately 150 supporters being outside that courtroom.
Exactly.
Waiting for the grand jury to come back with their decision. I'm pretty sure somebody looked at that one and say, "No, we ain't gonna even go here."
And the thing about it was, one thing I was really surprised about, the grand jury was mixed race.
Yeah, they were.
And
they
made
were.
the decision, that why are we prosecuting this lady for this? I mean, what?
Well, and in fact, Ohio is a testing ground for abortion.
Yeah,
you know that, right? The state of Ohio is like a testing ground for fresh campaign messaging, and some of this stuff is very misleading because they've spent over $60 million in just the abortion law itself. So I'm like, the Democrats, they hope the abortion issue can energize the supporters in contests up to and about down the ballot, the whole ballot. So the Democrats, we love this fight. Yes, I'm Democrat. I love this fight. Bring it on, Republicans. Bring it on. Because we ready.
I will say, I think it's a great fight. I'm a Democrat as well. And again, everyone, you have a right to support whatever party you choose. I think it's an amazing fight. But I will say, we got to fight some other stuff as well. There needs to be a lot more than just the abortion fight on the ballot for the Democratic Party.
And deliberate discussions will be bringing y'all those other fights. But right now, we need y'all attention on the abortion laws. Okay, we have to make this go nationwide. Pro-life, pro-choice. This has come up over the years, and I'm gonna tell you, all the states that, like the presidential swing states, you have Arizona, Nevada, and Pennsylvania. Those are all presidential swing states. They can go either way. But we need the Democrats in those states. We need to take those states so that we don't have to revisit these issues again. And these women's lives will not. They won't be in jeopardy. And people don't realize that abortion access is going to play a big part. It's going to play a big role in 2024 in the elections. Okay, Ohio voters will have to decide probably this week. What I was gonna say, Vincent, you made me lose my train of thought.
No, I had to come in here. I had to come in here. We talking about the election. I hopefully I could be the election correspondent. We're gonna have a good time this election. I'm also an independent. I identify as an independent Aboriginal American.
Okay.
So, you know what I'm talking about? I don't got no dog in the fight this year. It's gonna be really fun watching two pawpaws battle it out. You know what I'm talking about? Pawpaw 24, baby. You know what I'm
Hey,
talking about?
listen,
I just wanted to come on and say that Pawpaw 24 is gonna be exciting of both parties trying to convince us why two people who should be in a retirement home should be the leader of the free world into our future. That's gonna be awesome. I think it's gonna be awesome. And I'm
And
being
that's
sarcastic.
and it's a great point that Darnell just made. We need independence in those states to make their voices heard.
That's it. Purple.
That's
You see what color I have on?
that's very
When you
true.
start turning states purple, and that's the problem. We keep allowing this bipartisanship, right? So I didn't want to talk on any of them other topics. I don't talk on it, and you know why? Everything that Cedric said. I am a man. I know man problems. I have daughters. I'm a fa- I have daughters. I have a wife. I have 8 sisters. But I will tell everybody on the face of the earth, I am man enough to say I don't know 1% of a woman's worst day. I don't try to. I don't try to assume. I don't. I ask that woman how she feel, how this make her feel, and if she respects me enough to tell me how it make her feel, I'm gonna shoot that out in the tribe. I'm gonna go around the street saying, when you do that, it make her. I'm gonna talk like an old slave when I say it to somebody. When you do that, it make her belly hurt. You better stop. Like I'm gonna come, like this guy. I'm gonna sing an old Negro spiritual as I walk off. Like
To those of y'all that's probably wondering who this crazy guy is that just popped on the screen, this is Vincent. He's our producer behind the scenes.
Yes, he's our crazy producer. We love him. And I just can't get enough of you. You have to know him to understand.
Okay.
And I've been following this man for years. I really got to know him a few years ago, but I've been following him on Facebook for many years, on Facebook, Instagram, and now TikTok. And he's very deep.
Tiki Taki. Y'all go follow me on Tiki Taki. I am the proverb of the child the tribe threw away.
Okay.
And the proverb goes, normally that child comes back and burns down the village to feel its warmth. But because of my love and empathy for my experiences, I came back to try to give everybody in the village empathy and understanding, because they had their own problems. So I can't hold them steady to what my path was supposed to be.
Hey.
So that's it. I'm done. See, I get serious sometimes because I got ADHD, and then I'm out of here.
Cut it out. Bye. We'll see you in a minute. All right, Thaddeus. So every time he does that, I get like a delay in my screen. So if I look a little funny to y'all and I sound like my voice is on, that's because I did. Darnell says, I agree. Both of the potential presidential candidates should be in Arizona in a nice retirement. I cannot.
They should be on Carnival Cruise Line battling it off on the deck. Like, oh, look at Pawpaw. Both Darnell is right. Darnell is right. He got it.
He is absolutely right.
He got it, Darnell. You get it, Darnell.
But hey.
All right. So again, viewers, we really want to hear what you have to say on these discussions. Cedric and I, we did these deliberations on our own. However, we want to know what you all have to say. And Darnell says, God knows I cannot wait to retire.
Okay.
Darnell, friend, I can't either.
Okay. Sure.
So, I mean, we definitely want to hear what you viewers think on this. And again, if there's something that you want deliberate discussions to bring to our platform, please inbox us at deliberateDiscussions with an S at gmail.com, or you can inbox myself or Thadric on Facebook. Please go and like our Instagram page, Deliberate Discussions, also our TikTok page, Deliberate Discussions, and our YouTube page, Deliberate Discussions. We will be posting, our producer will be posting all of our videos there. And again, we just want to thank everybody who's been riding with us for these 5 seasons. They're short seasons. We do 10 episodes per season. But we just want to say thank you to everybody that's been riding with us. And we want to know what you want us to bring to the platform.
But I will say this, and you're right, Vicky. We're always open to new discussions and different topics to discuss. But in saying that, I want to be very clear with the audience. There's so many different platforms out there that you can choose from, especially if you're interested in celebrity gossip. There's so many out there. I can recommend a few to them. But one thing that you will never hear here on Deliberate Discussion is us discussing celebrity gossip. We have no time for those rich folks' problems.
No, them rich folks' problems. We don't deal with that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. One of our viewers got mad about our first show. He was disappointed. I'm sorry. We just don't. We don't.
We just don't.
We have no idea, guys.
Correct.
People can do that kind of stuff. We can't.
Our goal here on Deliberate Discussion is to bring news that you don't typically hear about in the media, but and to shine light on things like that, especially things that's going on in the communities that we're part of. So that's what's important to us. So again, we're open to all discussions. Like Vicky said, our inboxes are always open. We'll most definitely, deliberate on it and decide if we want to bring it to the show. But celebrity gossip is just not something we choose.
That's not us. Yeah, we don't do that.
But there's so many platforms out there for that.
Wait. You mean to tell me? Wait, ain't nobody tell me we're here to be informative and give educated information and maybe have our own personal opinions about informative information that's going on in society. I'm upset. I thought I was here to talk about Cardi B and her problem. I'm gone. This is how they treat me, America, all 8 broadcast stations that we all.
We don't care. We don't care who Offset.
I didn't know we were here to talk about.
Hey, Vincent, I will say this. If Cardi B and Vince and Offset want to throw some money over here to the delivery,
donate to the Delray Rocks. Tell them donate to the Delray Rocks, the Boeing Bulldogs. Donate to any locations. The VFW. We need a new VFW in Delray, Cardi B and Offset. So go buy the veterans somewhere they can get therapy and treatment.
So
that's
how
what
do
we talking about.
Rich people problems over here on the.
How do we wrap up? So, what's her Brittany? Her story.
Okay, so with Brittany, Brittany had I just love the support that they showed this young woman. Brittany did address the crowd and she thanked her community of Warren. She went on to say that she was born and raised there. She graduated high school there and that she's going to stay there to continue her fight. And that alone, if I wanted to move to Warren, Ohio, that comment alone would let me know that people like Brittany Watts still exist. And I love a good fight, Patrick.
Correct. Oh, yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I love Brittany. I'm glad that she's staying in the good fight, and staying in her community.
I mean, it's just devastating to have a miscarriage. I mean, Patrick, honestly, I don't know. I just can't see. I mean, I don't see anything she did wrong. The baby, the fetus was 22 weeks. It can't survive on its own. See, some laws are written to where if it's known that a fetus can survive outside of the womb, then it's considered a felony of some sort.
And I also heard, I was listening to part of the prosecution when they spoke to the grand jury and bringing these charges against her. And it was very clear that this prosecutor was kind of making it up as he go. It was very embarrassing on their end. Like, why are we even here? So they really did not do their homework when they decided to bring this charges against this young lady for this.
I feel sorry for the post-op that the state attorney put this file in because he made a whole fool of himself.
Yeah, a huge fool. And I was just like,
come on, if it's a felony, it's got to be what a class 5 felony. You get up to 1 year. Keywords up to 1 year in prison. Like you don't waste the taxpayers' money for that. I mean, Ohio, if y'all want to do something, clean up that damn water. Excuse me, I mean to cuss. Clean up that water up there.
All right, so we gonna talk about
Ohio has some of the nastiest tasting water ever. I'm sorry, I hate it.
Well, hey, in Illinois, we get ours from Chicago, we get ours from Lake Michigan, but that's a whole other stuff.
So we're just glad, but honestly, Patrick, we're just glad that justice has been handed down by the grand jury by saying, nay, we are not going to press charges against Brittany Watts. We really are. So kudos to you, Brittany. Just so you know, Deliberate Discussions does support you in your fight. And, you know, to anybody that sees this, if you want to get a message to Brittany, please have her to reach out to Deliberate Discussions. We would love to have her here on the show. Okay, so Thadric, let's move on to our last and final discussion. And this discussion here, this is very, very serious, as are all of our topics tonight. We're going to take you just 20 miles from Warren, Ohio, to Elyria, Ohio, which is about 75 miles from Brittany Watts. This past Wednesday, January 10th, around 2 p.m., the Elyria Police Special Response Team, kind of like, you know how they have Law and Order have their Special Victims Unit and SWAT have their Special Weapons and Tactics. Well, Elyria has their Police Special Response Team that raided a home belonging to a Miss Rada Jennings, who at the time had her niece.
I can play the video, friend.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot we have video. See, I be forgetting. We all advanced now.
17-month-old baby was in the ICU after the Elyria, Ohio Police Department raided a home looking for a suspect who didn't live there anymore. This is Courtney Price and her 17-month-old son, Waylon. Originally from Kentucky, Courtney traveled to Ohio to stay with her aunt because Waylon was scheduled to have open heart surgery at a different hospital. On January 10th, the Elyria Police Department raided Courtney's aunt's home, throwing 2 flashbangs through the door. Oh, maybe one there got the ball. One going through a window that landed right next to Waylon. Courtney did make a post to Facebook about this where she writes, "I heard the loudest knock on the door. I expected my uncle home soon and thought he was messing with me and started walking towards the door. When I got to the top of the steps, I noticed it was police, and then the next thing I know, the door busts open. The windows are busting out around us. I have multiple GUNs pointed at me and I just freeze in fear. I could see smoke coming through the window that was busted right where my baby was laying, and I knew he couldn't breathe in it. I was screaming, my baby, he's on a ventilator, my baby is in here. I was grabbed by my arm and jerked out the door and put into handcuffs. There were 30+ officers in the house and not one had the decency to check on my baby, get the glass off of him, or get him out of the smoke. SWAT team had 2 medics. One listened to him with a stethoscope and said, sounds clear. My baby did not sound clear. He needed 6 more liters of oxygen. His belly was retracting so hard and his vent settings need turned up. The negligence from the Elyria Police Department caused my baby to have a chemical reaction in and around his eyes, caused my baby to stop breathing for a few seconds this morning. They caused my baby to struggle to breathe. They caused my baby to have to go all day without eating. He was in horrendous pain. Imagine a defenseless baby laying in chemical-filled smoke, burning his eyes, body, lungs, and heart for almost a whole hour, and my baby seeing all kinds of people running around but no one helping him. This has changed us forever. I debated on posting these pictures, but I want everyone to know what they did. I want them to see what they did to my innocent, precious baby. No apology, no nothing, just a sorry, wrong house.
Yeah, that is
So can I add something to that really quick?
Please.
After they investigated that, they found out that the person they actually did that raid for had previously lived at that location, and it was the wrong house. And the police have come back, I think, about 6 times in a year, and she told them that person don't live here, and that still happened, and that makes no sense.
Yeah, they've been to that house repeatedly, and they've been told repeatedly that the person that they're looking for does not live there.
Yeah.
So how do you get 25 people out your door like Doom Squad, and it's the wrong door?
Well, here's my thing. First of all, why are there so many special response team members looking for a teenage boy on a weapons charge?
But don't they do? Let me ask you this. But don't they do? If I'm going to go into a house and do a raid, isn't there some form of surveillance or something? Like, let me see. Let's sit out and scope this out and see if we see this individual going in this house. And if and I've been here 6 times, and all 6 times I've been told the same thing. But was any surveillance? What type of legwork was done up until the decision to raid this home.
I totally agree, Badger. And my thing is, normally police would need a warrant, a justifiable warrant, for a judge
Correct.
to even sign off on something like that. So it really just makes no sense to me how they decided that, okay, we're going to go and bust this house. And this poor child, 17-month-old, already waiting to have heart surgery. This baby is 17 months old. Sitting in
Who
a
on the SWAT team? Who? So I'm all right. Who on the SWAT team said, let's throw the flashbang in the window where there's a sick baby, and nobody looked in the window to see if there was a perp in there, if the room was cleared? These type of things are supposed to be protocols. You're supposed to clear a room or make sure you identify a target. You see it in the movies. There's no movie you don't see someone peeking or putting the camera in there to see who's in the room before they kick the door in or do any of this stuff. They threw a flashbang and a baby, and then went through the window and knocked the baby under the window, like everything, and like that's crazy.
I'm beginning to think that the special response team is the special one, and
Her
this
baby
whole
daddy
trial-
on it. Her
this
baby
whole
daddy
trial
on
is
it.
not. I mean, because
Her ex boyfriend got to be on it, and he mad at the baby daddy because there's got to be something simple that makes no sense.
listen, let me tell you something. A spokesperson with the Elvira, I keep on wanting to say Elvira. They fit the case, but they the donkeys of the week.
Correct.
They said that the raid was part of an investigation. Come on now. An investigation looking for one teenager on a weapons charge. How many teenagers are running around the city of El Rio, Ohio, with a weapon? But y'all, after this, y'all coming up with this bull crap story about raiding this woman's house when y'all have been there several times. And that lady told y'all that person does not live here. What would make y'all think he was in that house?
Correct. And the fact that they've been to the house on more than one occasion and they've been told the same thing. Now you've come back and you've raided my place and you've completely torn it apart. So who's responsible for all the damage that they did and they were at the wrong house?
Well, according to the police, and I actually called El Rio police, and they had no comment to deliberate discussions. I did introduce myself. They said that they had no comment. They would have someone to get back to me. But
my friend don't play.
You see my notes, friend. You got my notes that I emailed to you. This really saddens me because this baby is awaiting a very traumatic procedure.
Exactly.
And to see his body riddled with burn marks, and these idiots had the nerve to say this. They claim that the devices are only diversionary devices that do not produce burns, nor do they contain pepper gas or chemical agents. Sir, ma'am, this is a 17-month-old child. His skin ain't even thick yet.
Correct. And then the kid was waiting on that could have very well killed this child.
Yes, it could have. And honestly, it still can. And his mother, Courtney Price, she described her son's condition as blood red, choking, and he was gasping for air. This is a baby. This is a baby.
Correct.
Of course, that child he can't withstand what we as adults can withstand. So what, y'all looking for the baby? What, y'all thought he was hiding the man under his swing or what? The baby was in a swing being comforted by his mother.
Correct.
Yeah, and the sad part about this, she went on to say she was screaming to them, but she said she was afraid that if she tried to make a run for her child, she feared for her life. And she was in handcuffs, but as a mother, you think about your children. And let me tell you something, it ain't no reaction in this world that I would have to think about. I'm sorry, they had to shoot me trying to save mine.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to save my children. I will take a bullet for all mine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I mean, it's up to God whether I live or die, but I'm going to take a bullet for mine. So I'm just trying to, area police, make it make sense to me. Make it make sense.
It doesn't make any sense what they did. And it's really heartbreaking that this child had to go through this and still going through it, you know? And even this mother, you've been to my house 6 times. I've told you the same thing over and over again. So my thing is, I would want to know what made this judge approve this search warrant. What evidence did they have to say, we know that this teenager is in this house?
And listen, I looked, for some reason, they must be hiding the judge's name. I looked on every site on Google. Google don't even know the judge's name.
Correct.
And if anybody out there knows who this judge is, let him know. Deliberate Discussions want to see him.
Yeah, Pam says, I'm sure she has plenty of lawyers contacting her. They're about to be in a gated community and the baby will have all the medical care he needs.
In the name of Jesus, we're going to claim that right now.
Exactly.
I hope she put a brace off of him. Here comes our producer again.
Somebody should go to jail. I'm sorry. We always talk about if the judicial system isn't working for itself, and if it isn't penalizing itself, why are we accepting the penalties?
Exactly.
That's the point. If it's supposed to be okay, if I break a law, you have a right to kick my door in and snatch my whole family out screaming maced. But if you get the wrong house, okay, it's tit for tat now. What do we get in return?
That's right.
What do we get? And they keep using this compensation, and then that's going to be paid by the city. So then the people who are already poor in that city, it's going to increase because the city's going to have a reduction in its budget to pay for the insurance policies and all of this stuff. So now the city councilman in the poorest community in that community now ain't going to get no help for his schools, or something else is going to get cut. So there's a systemic effect when we keep thinking just getting money, and then the problem is gone. When you start putting the police in jail, or when whoever's in charge, there should have been an investigation to a point to where there should be some real penalties. Because there is for us as citizens. If as citizens we do something, we get our liberty taken from us in the state in the country that's supposed to be about free liberty.
But you know what, Vincent, is great. I totally agree with what you just said, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because that makes there should be some form of accountability. But the only way there will be accountability when it comes down to these police officers is when we get our asses out and vote.
Hello. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Purple. Vote purple. We're going purple this year, y'all. Are we on that perp this year? Are we voting perp this year, y'all? Let's go perp. I'm talking about.
It's just that simple, you know. But we're at the 3-minute mark, and I want to end this with on a you know, it's the next story. If you want me to play the video, I'll go right into it, friend. Are you muted, Vicky?
Our hearts go out to Courtney Price and her son, Waylon May. You know, we really pray that you get through this. Deliberate Discussions does stand with you on your fight on this as well, and we will bring this up again. All right, so with that being said, those are our discussions for tonight. And again, if you would like something to, if you have something on your mind that you would like to bring to the Deliberate Discussions platform, please inbox us at Deliberate Discussions, just as it is spelled on your screen right now, at gmail.com. If you would like promo for your events, if you want to advertise with us, please contact myself, Vicki Horton, at 561-325-1488. I almost gave y'all a personal line.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Thaddeus, let's go ahead and close this out, friend.
Okay. We're going to play this video, and we'll come back and talk about it briefly.
Yes.
Mommy, I got something to say that I did. I did. I graduated today, and I know you're so proud of me. I'm happy, and I love you so much.
I just want to say, I am so proud of this young man.
I am too.
I know what it's like to be without a parent.
I feel you,
Um,
Sparkles. I'm sorry, Cedric.
I am 47 years old, a grown ass man, and one thing I do every time I go to Delray Beach, I stop by the cemetery and I see my grandmother and my dad. And the words I say to them is that I hope I'm making you proud. So to see this young man with Down syndrome and to know his story and the research that I've done and to know that this young man loved his mama, and his mama loved him, touched my soul. So I understand what this young man is going through to be without his mother, to be a teenager with Down syndrome, and had to live in today's society. But no matter how old you are, and especially for a man, we always need our mama.
That's right.
Always, 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 always need our mother. So I pray this young man grows up to be something special.
He already is, Cedric.
And to continue to make his mother. And I want that young man to know that his mother is shining down on him and smiling. And she is so proud of him. Woo! Lord have mercy.
Friend, I know we're 1 minute over, but excuse me. I did my crying when you sent this to me, because to see this young man, he before he went to his graduation ceremony, he stopped by to tell mama he's graduating today. This baby said, I just came by to tell you I'm graduating today. Do the love that this child, the love his mother had to have for him.
Yes.
It had to be very, very special.
Yes.
For this man with Down syndrome, this young man with Down syndrome, to work so hard to beat the odds and graduate, to walk across that stage. Friend, when you told me to my no, I'm not crying, I told you, I said, well, I am.
Okay.
Because this is amazing. I think about when I saw this, it just brought back memories of my mother, who's also buried on 8th Avenue in the cemetery in Delray Beach. And in 2015, when my youngest daughter graduated, she said, Mom, I want to go to the graveyard. And I'm like, for what? She said, to show my dear I graduated. And I have a picture of her sitting down by my mom's grave with her diploma. And I let her have her space, and she sat there and talked to my mom's, from the heart. And she did it. She said, Grandma, I did it. And to see this young man defy the odds of what people with Down syndrome can do, you can not see it, but you can feel the love he has for his mother. Exactly. And the love that she must have given her. And to whoever was videoing that person had to know how much that woman loved her child.
Exactly.
Whoever recorded it.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn more about this story, Thaddeus, who this young man is. And I'm telling you, I would say by episode 4, I want to put together a package, and I want to send this young man something. If he's going to be going to college, or even if he's not, I just want to send him something to let him know that he inspires all of us.
Yes. And I will say this, being a son, and you know how I am about my mother. Us men, we need our mothers. Our mothers are the most. Nothing else matters in the world to us as men like our mother. So Lord knows my mom sometimes can rattle my nerves, but it ain't nothing in this world I wouldn't do for her. You know, there are times where I don't be wanting absolutely nothing. I just be wanting to hear my mama's voice. Mom, what you doing? All right, I'll talk to you later. You know, so, and I'm almost 50. You know, we need our mother. So my heart just goes out to this young man. So thank you guys for tuning in. Sorry to have
Thank you all so very much. We're sorry, but we're not sorry to end it on such. But we just thought we wanted to share that moment with everybody, with this young man. We will get you more information by episode 5. I will have more information on how you can help us at Deliberate Discussions make a donation to this young man. We encourage you, please just deliberategdiscussions@gmail.com. If you would like to help, $1, $5, $10, whatever you have, we are going to put together either a gift card and more stuff for this young man, and we're going to get it to him because, I mean, he's amazing.
Yep. Thank you, Darnell. Thank you. Well,
I know we're over really quick. All I want to add is if you know of someone else who is doing something positive in spite of every condition,
yes,
that's what that story is about. It's about no matter what condition the world gave that young gentleman, he figured out how to accomplish his goals in spite of that condition. If you know of anyone else who is doing that, who is trying to accomplish a goal in spite of their conditions, please also email that to the Deliberate Discussions team so that we can get those people those visibilities, because those are the people who are the real heroes that never wear capes. And that's the only thing I'd like to add.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. Thank you so much, Vincent. That was, thank you for saying that.
Thank you to let me just say this, thank you so much to Naomi Lurie. Listen, Naomi, I know you're crying. We're sorry, but we're not sorry. We had to get this out there. And we just want to say thank you so much to Naomi, Darnell, Sparkle. Who else is on here?
Tanya's on here, Darnell, Bilal.
I know Don Kingsby is on here.
Melody.
Sean Parker, your mom. I can't see everybody. I do apologize. But thank you all so very much for always supporting Deliberate Discussions. We hope that you will definitely stay with us each and every Wednesday until our last episode, which will air on March 13th. But please come back next Wednesday at 8 p.m. We have some more discussions that we started deliberating on last night. So that, I cannot wait for that one. Ooh.
Our good old friends.
Church folk, next Wednesday, govern yourselves accordingly if you don't comment.
Okay.
Good night, everybody. I'm your co-host, Vicki Horton. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope to see you back next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And I'm your co-host, Patrick Parker. Thank you guys so much. And thank you, Vincent, as always, for holding it down behind the scenes.
Hey, for my page, we got. We all we need.